we have come back full circle, back to the exact same time frame, same spot, to when I was canceled for being this quote unquote bad person, or this quote unquote person that hurted and harassed his friends. So last night, I was sent screenshots that are from the schmoo server. You can obviously pause the video to read the screenshots yourself. I'm just giving my takes and my brief summaries of what is being said in these screenshots and how ridiculous all this is. So, in the first screenshot, we have Vanny letting everyone know to stop mentioning me and Mofix in that server. In this screenshot, we have Vanny explaining what I did that got me outed as this bad person or someone who's canceled from the fanbase. This entire statement that Vandy makes is a lie. Cosmo Spinks is not a known groomer or abuser. Cosmo Spinks was groomed, and the victim Pede/Aurora claimed to be 2 years younger, yet actually they were 2 years older than Cosmo. If you do research and read articles, grooming is always when an adult grooms a child. A child cannot groom an adult. That is just not how this works. Grooming is a process that happens over time, which in this case, it was happening over 3 years since Cosmo and Pede were dating, since Cosmo was 12 and Pede was 14. We go through more. You apparently found out I was talking to Cosmo. How would you even find out? The only possible way is that Cosmo's stalker, JackSlow5, was going through everyone's friends list and somehow stumbled across me, and that somehow spread like wildfire. And even still, why would you care who I'm friends with? Being friends with a deemed bad person should not affect how I am nor how you see me, nor does that give you the right to control who I'm friends with. And there is no we confronted him. You, solo Vanny, confronted me about it. And honestly, it was a bad move. Because I'm going to be honest, Vanny is not someone who uses words. They are more of someone doing action or spur of the moment impulses. Vanny should not have been the one to talk to me about any of this. If I was confronted about it in the schmoo server, I was not given any time to respond, because when I woke up, I was kicked from a lot of private servers and public servers, so I would have no clue of what was really said to me beforehand. Another lie Vanny says is that I say it was the victim's fault. I never said that actually. You're proceeding to leave out key words in my quote. I said, if you were groomed by someone younger than you, then it is your fault. Meaning that it's the adult's fault for somehow being groomed by a child. Again, as we know, grooming is a process only when an adult grooms a minor, never the other way around. The only way this could ever be a scenario is if the adult is on that kind of spectrum or some other type of some type of disability. But as far as we know, Cosmo's groomer Pede/Aurora had none of these. Vanny proceeds to claim that I harassed the schmoo crew and Toot. From my knowledge, I've never harassed anyone from the schmoo crew at all, nor have I harassed Toot. And if you think that the TeamAwesome channel is harassing anyone at all, you can go check for yourself. Nothing on that channel should be taken seriously at all. It's mostly just genuine garbage. We go to this screenshot, and yes, I did do that. I did upload Crewthereal with animations that are not just from Mofix. There is art and animation that went unseen and scrapped just because there was a scene that Mofix did or animation that Mofix did in it. I find this statement really irrelevant because it doesn't affect anything. I don't see how seeing a monster move around and dance is hurting you. It genuinely sounds childish on paper. If anything, it's good that it's out, so you could all move on. Because I personally would not want to spend another 5 to 6 years working on a monster class while pushing my mid-20s, but be my guest. Another point, why would I ask to upload this? I would not even be able to ask if you all have me blocked, so why even bother trying to ask? Why would a labeled bad person need to ask permission to upload something that I helped make? Generally irrelevant statement. Vanny then claims I am lying about the things they claim Mofix did, even though I was there. Which, yes, I was there, so how would I be lying? That entire statement does not even make sense. From how I remember it, Mofix went ghost for like 3 months or so, and everyone in the schmoo crew was concerned because Mofix hasn't said nor done anything in a while. Then one day, Vandy messages Mofix through emails, and Mofix responds saying he's doing fine and just going through life things. Then, a month or so later, he comes back and everyone's happy, and there was a big VC reunion. Then, give it another few months or so, this time Mofix announces that he is leaving the Schmoo Crew and My Second Monsters fanbase as a whole, because he wants to move on and grow out of it. Some more time passes. All of a sudden, everyone in the Schmoo Crew just comes to this conclusion that Mofix was a mean jerk that abused, hurt, and manipulated them. Based on my experience with Mofix, as someone who's been around them for as much as the Schmoo Crew has, he never abused or been mean towards anyone. He's been sarcastic as a joke, and that's it. He might have said some stuff behind some people's backs, but only because that group as a whole is built upon a parasocial friendship. He should not have to be forced to like all of the random people that get added to the crew every day. The only weird thing that I can recall that he's done was make a porn server for the Schmoo Crew so they can express their weird sexual things. The server was completely optional to join. No one was forced into joining that server. I even joined because most of the other crew members were in the server, but I didn't talk there. I only talked there if there was a call happening there. This is a really weird thing that Mofix has done since he was the oldest person in the group at the time, and everyone else was 15 through 17 in that server, but most of the younger people did not join because they felt it was weird. It was definitely weird. I didn't see that it was weird during the time because I wanted to be closer with the crew members. This statement 2 makes is worded very weirdly because we generally never said they lied. You can read here that we state that Mofix did not leave because of these allegations, meaning the video and the claims that you and the fanbase put on him. He left before the Mofix allegation video was even made. So I truly don't understand how I am lying at all if I was there for all of that, as said before. Vandy claims I defended Mantis. I've truly never stated anywhere that I defended Mantis. This whole statement is a lie. The only thing that I've done in the past was join Mantis' Discord server, because I'm allowed to do that, and no one should be able to control what server I join and what people that I talk to. What makes it more interesting is that how would you even know if I did defend Mantis unless you were stalking me, or had some person that you knew in Mantis server leaking everything that I do? This truly means that y'all have not moved on from me and try to find every little thing that I do and make it bigger than it needs to be. Why are you stalking a quote-unquote bad person, and why do you care what I do in my pastime? But regardless, you can check anywhere on my channel or my posts. I've never claimed to defend Mantis. Mantis is not a mentally well person, and they need help. Not sure who this Lyricine person is, but the statement they make here is very true. You should not speak on anything that you don't know. I say the normalized fallacy should be innocent until proven guilty. I don't know how that isn't just common sense for situations like this. But this Lyricine person completely retcons this statement that we will see later on in the future. Yes, I did put that hashtag in every video, but only for like a week. I removed them right after because it felt very childish, which it was. But then again, me putting a hashtag in a video shouldn't be hurting you or feel like it's harassment. It's just a video with a monster sound that you can easily ignore. I would truly want to know in what way that this could be relevant or in any way hurting you. What I wanted you to do was bring the video back up, because why would you hide these claimed allegations? Privating the video makes people believe that it's either not true and you all lied about it and are trying to cover it up. It also makes people overall confused. You say he has done all these things without showing proof, or just hiding a little proof that you have, making it seem like the whole thing was bigger than it needs to be. We now come back to this Lyricine person. They proceed to just completely retcon their last statement, saying that I left the group for no good reason. I never left for no good reason. I was kicked out without proper questioning and reasoning. And again, I have to keep restating that Cosmo Spanx is not a groomer. Grooming is a process. They have been groomed in the past, which made them believe that all this fetish stuff was normalized online. I don't know why Vanny said this statement in quotes, because I never said any of this. So this is a false quote, making this whole thing a lie. Another note is that you don't care about each other. You care about each other's statuses maybe in the fan base, but not each other. If you cared about each other, that means that I would still be fine in the fan base, right? Since I was a part of that group of super talented people. If you cared about me at all, you would have actually spoken to me like a human instead of interrogating me like I'm a criminal, trying to dictate who I speak to and trying to make me seem like a bad person. I'd also like to note that this is Vanny, a 20-year-old saying that a 15-year-old, currently 17-year-old, is the worst person ever. If you think a 15-year-old who was groomed since they were 11 is the worst person ever, I think you can maybe read through some history books and look at modern day issues. Because based on my knowledge, a 15-year-old who was misguided and thought that all this sexual and fetish stuff was normalized could have easily been talked to with the right people and the right words. But instead, we are labeling this teenager on par with genuinely bad people. Yes, I would rather be friends with someone that I can trust and not people that would drop me at a moment's notice once I do literally anything deemed bad by the masses. That's not how friends work. Friends talk it out like people and make it work. If you were truly friends, that's how it would work. You would also defend each other and try to understand each other for whatever they did. For example, if one of my friends was accused of being a murderer and they tried to reach out to me for help, I would try to listen to what happened about the situation instead of running away and hiding and blocking them out from everything. I understand the shock value of some things can be extreme, but friendship should overpower that shock value. If you were able to drop someone that quickly, you are the bad friend. Vandy claims to have talked to the people in the TeamAwesome friend group. The only person that Vandy has talked to closely in that group was me. Everyone else maybe once every blue moon, but not as close as me. She claims we all hate each other and that we're all miserable. This is not at all true. I love my friends and they love me. This goes for my friends in TeamAwesome and all of my real life friends that I've made over the years. We are friends because we actually have been through a lot together and we actually have a deep connection that isn't just, can we invite random person 500 to join the server? We defend and rely on each other because that's what friends are supposed to do. If you were able to drop a friend that quickly without trying to get a deeper answer or questioning, you were never a good friend. You were just simply talking to me because of my status and what I was able to do. We have Blooder coming in, not adding much to the situation. He's simply restating what's already been said, so he's kind of irrelevant. But I will agree with him on one thing, is that I have become vindictive. And I will stay vindictive until this whole situation is dealt with in a mature manner, instead of making docs on each other back and forth. I've not become vindictive for just no reason. Over the year, I've seen everything that's been said about me in multiple servers. I've been sent screenshots from people talking about me still, and those people don't even know what happened. It's all just word of mouth. It's a bad game of telephone. You say you don't appreciate my commentary. Is it when I called you guys sheep that can't follow your own opinions? If that's the case, then it's still true. Most people in this fanbase are not able to form their own honest opinions about stuff like this because they are afraid of losing their own status and their own parasocial friendships that they've made over the years, forcing themselves to just follow and listen to whoever is more popular or has a more following. Depending on how people take this video, it will honestly prove my point further that this fanbase is filled with sheep and they all act like it's a big hive mind. Whoever this Smiling Friends PFP guy is right and actually been paying attention. But it wasn't me who was harassed by Jaxlow5 for 5 years. It was Cosmo, and he is still actively harassing him. As of recently, assuming this was Jax has been getting Cosmo banned from multiple non-MSM servers. And if this wasn't Jax, then it has been people from the MSM fanbase still stalking Cosmo's every move. This has been happening ever since the original doc on Cosmo was made. Lyricon comes back and states that all of this has nothing to do with the schmoo crew, which actually, yes, it does, because based on my knowledge, people in the schmoo crew, to be more exact, Qualm, has said that they would do basically anything to make sure that Cosmo doesn't get away with what they've done, and also states that Cosmo has hurt them somehow. Qualm states that Cosmo had a porn obsession and would get defensive over it. Cosmo was only defensive over it because they were groomed into thinking it was a normalized thing. Again, grooming is a process. Cosmo only played those porn games because P/Aurora got them into them. I find it interesting that Qualm was sitting in the backlines watching all this happen just so Cosmo won't retaliate with evidence that they have against Qualm doing who knows what. You could only assume that it's more fetish stuff. Weird that the adult, Qualm, feels more safer that the minor, Cosmo, is being silenced over this. Based on my experience and my knowledge, Cosmo would never initiate or talk about porn or fetish stuff first. Usually someone would bring it up or try to get them involved into speaking about it, which would usually spiral from there. As we can see here, it's lively seals sparking up these vor role plays and this fetish stuff with Cosmo and other people. I find it so weird that people kept saying that Cosmo is this weird fetish freak, yet there's so many people like this in this fan base that do this and try to inflict it on other people. It's gross. It's a really gross and weird mindset that this fan base has. Before I finally end this video, if anyone wants to make some snarky comments saying I didn't provide any proof or explain anything, based on what Origin Majesty states, proof is not a valid argument, which is genuinely the most ludicrous statement I've ever heard. If you were to make a statement using this in a court of law, you would genuinely look like a fool and you would immediately lose your case. I've never made a series of poor choices. I sure would want to be acknowledged of what these poor choices are. I sure would also want to know who these abusive people are, because to my knowledge, none of my friends have abused anyone. These are all lies. You have shown no proof or evidence of my friends abusing anyone. But once again, based on your words, you don't need proof for stuff like this. So that's kind of strange. You state my own friends. If you mean the people in the schmoo server as my friends, you are surely wrong. Most of you people in that server were never my friends, and this entire video proves that. The fact that you can lie behind my back and slander me constantly without even providing proper context and evidence shows how much you never even liked me. If you were really my friends, when all that Cosmo stuff went down, you would have tried to understand the situation and understand Cosmo's and my situation, but none of you did that. You all just saw Doc and heard the word groomer and all vanished. There were only a few people that sided with me or tried to understand me, but I won't say their names because I know how this fan base works. If I say who those people are, then they will lose their friends and their status and be labeled as a bad person for even speaking to me or defending me. This community acts like a giant high school clique, and it's so childish to know that even the adults in this fan base act like this. And this right here, again, is another lie. I have never stated anywhere to harm myself or harm anyone in this fan base. Neither have my friends. I'm not that weak-minded to suicide trick people just to win an argument. Once again, another lie. I never stated that if a younger person gets groomed, it's their fault. That's idiotic and makes no sense. The quote-unquote victim, Aurora, is not younger. They are older than Cosmo by 2 years. If we go back over to what grooming is, it's a process, and in this case, the adult, Aurora, the actual groomer, felt scared or threatened and retaliated against Cosmo, exposing them as the groomer while leaving Aurora in the clear. It does not take rocket science to understand that this is how that works. The quote-unquote victim, Aurora, did not delete their online presence. They are still around and still online. They just constantly rebrand and go by different aliases every time to stay in hiding because they know what they did was wrong. I will also point out, if these accounts shown get deleted or rebranded in some way, then there's your proof. You are also exactly saying that you hate me. That's what this whole video is basically saying. From all of the backhanded slander that I had to deal with and face over this year, it's ridiculous. And again, if you all really did still care about me and wanted to be my friend, you would have came to me and talked to me at some point like I'm a human. I have no one from the schmoo crew blocked, but they all have me blocked. I finally will never understand why we keep saying this situation is private. This entire situation was never private. Ever since the doc was made on Cosmo, it's always been public. If you make a doc and post it online Twitter to be exact, it's a public situation. Even earlier, how they talked about me in this Muku public server with many people that can easily spread lies and reword everything that's been said about me. I really never wanted to make this video, but this is genuinely the only way that I'm able to get through to people. It might not be everyone, but just at least a few smart people in this fan base can at least realize how dumb this whole thing is. I keep re-saying this, but my Discord is always open. I have no one blocked, no one from the Smuku block either. You can easily come talk to me like a human being. We can stop acting like chronically online weirdos and actually talk this stuff out like people to understand each other. This video is truly the only way that I'm able to get word out because I'm blocked from everyone and probably banned from everywhere. I can't talk or give my side of the story or even say anything if you don't allow me to. I do not really know what else to say, but I'm done with this community and this fan base.